Hi, it's Melanie, and today I want to talk to you about something that's a little bit different than what I'm normally talking about. I usually talk about you and your health and how food can really improve your health, and today I want to talk about your kids. So, if you have kids, you obviously have to feed them several times a day, and you may have some struggles around that. So, there is a theory and a practice that I want to make sure you're aware of that can really help with teaching kids how to take ownership of their eating and making it so that when they grow up and they're on their own without you, that they have a good intuition, a good sense of their body in terms of when they're hungry, when they're full, and that they really start from an early age with having really good eating habits. So there's a book I want to share with you. It's called Child of Mine, Feeding with Love and Good Sense. It's by Ellen Satter. And this is the updated and revised version. It was published in 2000, so this is not a new concept. It's something that's been around for a while. And Ellen Satter is a dietitian who, throughout her years of clinical experience, was able to kind of distill a phrase and a concept that you may have heard before that is called the division of responsibility in feeding. So I'm going to just read really quick what it is. It says parents are responsible for the what, when, and where of feeding, and children are responsible for the how much and whether of eating. So let me just explain what that means. It basically means that as parents, we are responsible for deciding what to feed our kids, when to offer it to them, and they are responsible for deciding whether or not they're going to eat it and how much they want to eat. So that really kind of takes the burden off of us as parents. We don't have to figure out how much they need to be eating or how hungry or full they are or which foods that they should even be eating. We can decide what we're making for dinner, and they decide which foods of that meal to eat. And that can be hard for some parents. I know all of us obviously want to do the best for our children, and we're really well-meaning when it comes to feeding our kids. And we tell them to eat their vegetables, and we tell them to eat, how many vegetables and which things they need to eat before other things. But we really don't need to micromanage it to that level, because they have an intuitive sense from a very young age. From when they first start eating, they have an intuitive sense of how hungry they are, how full they are, of which foods they need when. There's studies that have been done with children where they give kids a whole array of different foods to eat, and they might kind of focus in on one food at one meal and another food at another meal, but over the course of the day, over the course of the week and the month, they do get a wide variety of different foods into them, and that's just through their own natural choice. So some days they might need more protein, and other days they might need more fiber, and they're not thinking about it in these terms, but they just have an intuitive sense of what their body needs. So I encourage you to let go of trying to figure out, how much your child eats, if they're not eating enough, or if they need to eat more of certain types of foods. Just make sure you're providing a wide array of healthy foods and let them choose. I do this with my daughter. She's almost 2, and sometimes, she is a really big eater. She's a really great eater. She's also on like 99th percentile in her height and weight, so she's big for her age, and so she does eat a lot, but I don't manage how much she eats, and sometimes she doesn't really want to eat much at all, and then other times, I find out after a few days of her not eating a lot that she was sick, but there's no way for me to know that, so I don't want to be forcing her to eat when her body is dealing with other things and she's figuring it out on her own whether or not she's hungry. So this is important to me for several reasons, but I think for one thing, when I take a step back and think about what I want to teach my daughter about how to eat, it's that I want her to listen to her body. I want her to know when she's hungry. I want her to know when she's full, and I want her to respect those things. And I don't want to be telling her, you have to eat this much of this and this much of that, because I want her to learn how to manage that for herself. And I feel like with the epidemics these days of diabetes and obesity and children getting sicker younger and having more chronic diseases, that we really need to empower our children to eat in a healthy way, as an intrinsic and internal thing that they're doing, not because of external factors, so that they'll keep it up when we're not around for them anymore. So if you have any questions about this topic, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And check out the book Child of Mine. They talk about feeding children up through age 5. So if you're having any struggles of feeding younger children, check out this book and let me know in the comments if there's anything that you need help with in terms of feeding your kids. I'd love to hear from you. And I will see you in the next video.